there are a number of issues that I would like to share with you. And then, of course, after that, I'll be happy to take your questions and your concerns that you may have. I'll not be able to give it in a structured manner, but I'll just speak about a few of the subjects that I would like to share with you. Last week, I made a visit to Delhi, and during my visit, I had met a large number of ministers from the Government of India and officials to take up a large number of issues pertaining to the development of the state. Some of the more important meetings were with the Tribal Affairs Department, and an important issue there which we had discussed, which the Honorable Education Minister has already given you details, but I'll just add to it that there was a big concern about the EMRS schools, the fact that the overall progress of the work in these schools is not at the pace as we would want it to be. So therefore, after discussing with the Tribal Affairs Minister, we are setting up a task force which will be headed by myself as a chairperson, the Chief Minister, and there will be members from, obviously, the Education Minister and the Education Department will be there, and the members from WebCOS, which is one of the implementing agencies, and the MIDC, which is the Manipur Industrial Development Corporation, and officials from the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. And the objective of this task force will be to ensure that all the different issues concerning land and other aspects which are leading to the slowdown of the overall implementation of the scheme will be taken up by this task force. Apart from that, the Tribal Affairs Minister has informed us that the Government of India, the Tribal Affairs Ministry, has decided to take up a large number of tribal villages for overall development purpose in different tribal states of the country. They have identified 836 villages, plus minus 10. I don't remember exactly if it's 836 or 846, but approximately 830 plus villages have been identified in Meghalaya, which will now be taken up in the next 5 years for overall development and gap funding in whatever areas that are required. The objective being to make these villages self-sufficient in one way, make these villages overall have the facilities that they require. So the Ministry of Tribal Affairs will actually fund these villages, and as I said, it will be done in a 5-year plan. And for this also, we have organized a meeting which is going to take place next week, along with the Joint Secretary of the concerned project, where these villages will be taken up. And as I said, this list of villages have already been finalized, and will be starting the implementation of these development projects in these villages funded by Ministry of Tribal Affairs in the next few months to come. Apart from that, again, regarding the EMRS, the Honorable Education Minister has already informed that there was a concern whether for the recruitment of the teachers, since it's a central sponsored project, whether the state policy or the national policy will apply. And during the course of our meeting, it was clarified to us that the state reservation policy will be applicable for the recruitment in these particular schools. We also had a meeting with the National Highway and the Honorable Minister of Road and Surface Transport, and we have submitted additional projects for CRF, that is Central Road Fund, and at the same time we have asked for additional funds to take up more projects on national highways. On both the fronts, we have got a very positive response from the Government of India, and we are hopeful that we will get more additional funds for additional projects in this financial year under the National Highway, as well as under CRF, with some intervention from Finance Department of the state and the Finance Department from the center. We are hopeful that certain more projects will be there under CRF also. We also had a meeting with the Jal Shakti Minister So projects regarding Jal Jeevan mission as well as the minor irrigation projects were also taken up. Some old pending dues to the state amounting to approximately about 70-80 crores was taken up, and the government has agreed to release those funds immediately to us. And at the same time, we have also asked for additional 70 projects to be taken up under the minor irrigation, and Government of India is positively considering those projects also. I would also like to inform you that regarding the independent inquiry for matters relating to MECL, the committee has been set up on the 30th of June 2021, which means about 9 days back. And this is a committee that will be headed by Justice Ifaqat Ali Khan, who is a retired judge of the Allahabad High Court, Shri Manoj Kumar, who is a retired IAS officer, and Shri Sushil Kumar, who is a retired executive director of the REC as a technical member. This committee has been asked to have its first meeting on Monday itself. So we are expecting that they will have their first meeting virtually on Monday or on Tuesday. And necessary arrangements like office space, place to stay, staff, all the necessary arrangements have been made. And we are expecting that this committee should be able to start its work as early as next week. And the first meeting, I'm told, is most probably going to take place next week on Monday or on Tuesday. At the same time, I have also issued an order to constitute a single member independent inquiry into the social welfare matter regarding the rice and the quality of the food products, which was raised in different quarters. So the Chief Secretary has been asked to find out names of retired judges of high courts, so that we can select a one-member committee. And we expect that this committee, once it's formed, should be able to submit the report to us within 3 months' time. Similarly, even the committee on the MECL has also been asked to submit the report within 3 months. I had last week, some members had asked me, or the press had asked me about the expenditure that has incurred in COVID. I'd like to inform you that for this second wave in 2021-22, there has been, from the medical department, including NHM and DHS, an expenditure of approximately 240 crores have been spent. And this includes mostly equipments that are being used to fight COVID, ranging from obviously the prefab structures to procurement of different COVID items, to procurement of oxygen cylinders. So it has been slightly more different. There's of course also salary components, supplies and materials. All these aspects also are there. At the same time, we also had to have expenditures in the Corona care centers and equipments including ambulances, masks and PPEs. We also had to spend on labs and surveillance amounts, oxygen concentrators. So all these expenditures on a total have come to about 240 crores for the second wave. I would like to also inform you that there had been a lot of concern in the media and among the public also regarding certain incidents that took place in Delhi and NCR, where two people, late Samuel and late Rosie Sangma from Dimapur, died in different circumstances, and so therefore the clarity in this was something that is being sought by the people at large. I had spoken to the family members of late Samuel, and they had told me that they'll be filing an FIR very soon. and therefore we were waiting for those FIRs to be filed. In the meantime, I received a representation from the Nagaland Garo Tribal Council on July 5th, and based on this, I have written a letter to Shri Arvind Kejriwal and to Shri Manohar Khattarji, Chief Ministers of Delhi and of Haryana, to look into this matter and put up an inquiry into the circumstances in which these lives were lost. So we're hopeful that we will get some positive response on this issue also. Regarding the different cryogenic plants in the COVID hospitals in the state, we are at a very advanced stage to complete the cryogenic plants, both in Jingpynbna as well as here in Shillong. And we are hopeful that both these plants should be up within the next 2 weeks' time. In fact, we will be able to start trials of these plants in maybe a week's time from now, especially the Shillong one. The trials will start in terms of the supply of oxygens for the long run.